I wanted to ask you today, have you ever thought about God in fear? Why? Well, fear is something we all have experienced, and it's actually talked about a lot in the Bible. It's a lot of the commands in the Bible, one of them is commanded a lot is to fear not. So let's take a couple of minutes and think about God in fear. There's a couple of examples I wanted to go over, and we'll start with the first one is in the book of Proverbs, a book that has a lot of wise sayings in it. Well, in the first chapter of Proverbs, there's a passage in there that says that the fear of God is the beginning of knowledge. And some versions say wisdom. But let's make sure we're looking at it for what it says, because some people act like it's saying that the fear of God is knowledge, but it's not saying that. It's actually calling fear a tool. And when we look at it, fear in this case is that you realize it's a tool that triggers you to realize that you're not right with God. And then the situation that you're in, and it moves you to act. It moves you to find out what God wants from us so that we can be right with Him. Because if you think about it, again, if you have all the knowledge, you have knowledge and the wisdom you need of God, do you really need to fear Him? No. There's no need. Once you know how God feels about you, there's no reason to fear Him. So fear is the beginning. It isn't knowledge, it's the beginning. Now let's look at a second situation with fear, and it's in the book of Mark, and it's in Mark chapter 4, when it talks about Jesus calming the storm. It's evening, Jesus and some of His followers get into a boat to cross the sea. Jesus goes down into the boat to go to sleep. When He's down there, a big storm brews up, and it talks about water crashing over the sides of the boat, and the men in the boat are afraid. They go down to Jesus and they say to Him, they wake Him up and say to Him, "Do you not care that we are perishing?" So they're scared and they're motivated by their fear. So Jesus gets up, He goes out, He rebukes the storm, but He turns around and says that, "Are you still afraid? Do you not have any faith?" So the fear in this case was not good because of the way they reacted. They weren't motivated to a good thing. They were motivated to a bad reaction. Because you have fear that resulted in being right with God and fear that resulted in not being right. And sometimes I think about, is it the fear that made Jesus mad, or was it the reaction from the fear? Because if you look in Matthew 8, there's a case where the centurion wanted his servant healed, and it was brought to Jesus, and Jesus was to go, and the centurion said, "You don't need to go, just say the word." So the centurion, I believe that the centurion acted out of fear of losing his servant and knew that Jesus could fix him. And when he acted the way he did to Jesus, Jesus reacted in, "This man is a great man of faith." So fear is a tool. And we need to realize that. Why am I talking about fear now? Because of the situation we're in with the COVID. We're afraid. We're living in a world of fear right now. So as your day goes on, let's think about it. And let's see, is your fear going to reveal your faith, or is it going to reveal your lack of faith? So I just want you to think about it. God and fear.